If you are a young zoologist and you wish to do some experiment, you might as well do this. Take a petri dish and a pipette, go to a nearby pond and collect about 50 cc of water and put it in the petri dish. Put a pinch of glucose in it and some straw, bring it back to the laboratory. Maintain it at 37 degrees centigrade. Take a microscope and examine the sample. Incidentally, you happen to find only one amoeba in that sample. Great. Ask this question to amoeba. Look, you are the only one here. You were in the pond a few minutes back. Now you are in the laboratory. Are you feeling lonely? Amoeba will say, no, I'm okay, no problem. I'm doing fine. You keep on giving me food in right temperature and I'll be okay. Do another experiment. Pick up a paramecium and put it in another petri dish. Ask this question to paramecium. How are you? Well, I'm okay, but feeling a bit lonely. Why? I wish I had a, member. How many? Maybe 10, 20, 50, 100 would do. Because, I just want to talk and I want to associate with themselves. Great. You bring along 10, 20 paramecia, put them together, they'll be okay. You ask the question, well, we are doing fine. Go ahead and do your own job. Now we do another experiment. Third one. Go and pick up an ant, put it in a flask, and ask this question, how are you? You will find that the ant is a little bit lost, forlorn, dejected, and moving helter and skelter. Says, well, where am I? I'm lost, I'm feeling wretched. Why are you feeling wretched? I don't have the company. I don't have friends around me. Where are they? I just not being able to get any kind of information or any clue from them. What kind of clue you want to get? Well, some kind of information that comes from my colony member, from my queen and king, I have to follow the command and I have to do something. I'm supposed to do something and I'm not sure what I'm going to do because I've got no idea of what I should be doing. So I should have a lot of members with me. You bring along 10, 20 ants and put them together. Now, you ask the same question, it says, no, it's adequate because you see, I'm not actually getting the information, the right kind of information that I ought to get from high command. So I must have pretty large number of them. In other words, ants want to live in a colony, in a huge group. That's called army. They follow the command and do things accordingly and they become active and they are out on a mission. Now you have got three situations. First case was amoeba, the second paramecium, and the third one an ant. See, their behavioral characteristics are different. Amoeba is a solitary animal. Paramecium is a gregarious animal. Animalcule, of course, they are protozoans. An ant is a colonial animal. It doesn't want to live by itself. It doesn't want to live in small groups. It wants to live in a colony of thousands, even 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 members. So animals have a different pattern of living. These are behavioral characteristics. Sometimes you want to live by yourself, sometimes in a group, sometimes in a huge group, but of course you prefer to live in a small group. That group belongs to your own people that you know of and your friends and relatives. You don't want to live in a crowd, do you? Occasionally you might happen to visit Kumbh Mela where you find millions thronging, taking baths in the Sangam. That's another point. But you don't want to live in huge groups. So animals have propensities. Sometimes you associate, sometimes you disassociate, but you want to live in a small group, a small family. That's the characteristic of human being. Suppose you are boarded a train and sitting there and the next passenger sitting next to you doesn't talk to you, you don't mind. Okay. When your destination comes, you get down the train, you have no feelings for the people around you. Of course, you look at them and they look at you. They are engrossed in themselves, and you are also engrossed in your own thoughts. But sometimes when you board a train, somebody who is sitting next to you begins to ask you question, set of questions, and the question answer session begins. And in this way, you pick up some kind of thread, conversational thread, and you become, engaged in that. The time passes along, and the conversation is incidentally animated, and it leads to some kind of warmth and fellow feeling, and in this way the matter proceeds. In some other occasion, you might sit with someone who is hostile, who doesn't want to offer you seat or anything like that, and casts you an icy look, and a bit hostile, and you don't want to talk to him, or you avoid that person. So it depends upon the circumstances you are in. You behave accordingly. Animals too behave accordingly. They depend upon the circumstances around them and the kind of behavior they get from others.